Hi, this is my personal change theory presentation. So to start, why do you want to become a counselor and how have you helped someone? People have always told me that I'm pretty easy to talk to, that I'm a good listener, and that I'm empathetic towards others. Um, but I want to become a counselor, I guess, for those reasons, but also I've always had the understanding that there's more than one perspective. Um, you have to meet people where they are. They've been through things that others will never be able to understand fully, and they have the perspective that they have because of those challenges. And it's important to help them process the things that they've been through and move forward to lead a more successful life. How might I have helped someone? I have worked several different jobs. I have worked direct care with teenagers, teaching them emotional regulation skills and why it is important to be able to regulate your emotions. I've worked direct care staff and caseworker with adults who struggle with substance abuse. And I've worked with mothers and fathers on a case management level in a program to find resources and develop life skills that will be beneficial for them. The next question is, how would counseling help someone? So counselors play many different roles, and while counselors may be able to help people find resources or develop skills that they need, or, many other different things that counselors help with, I think the most common way counselors help is by providing a safe space and meeting people without judgment to help them process their emotions and to problem solve anything that they're going through. Why might someone seek counseling? I think while many people have others in their life who they can confide in, I think sometimes people are fearful of being met with judgment or fearful of the problems and concerns and difficulties that they're going through being shared with other people. And so I think that is a big reason why people might see a counselor. And then how might someone hurt? People hurt for all sorts of different kinds of reasons. Unfortunately, people struggle with loss. People deal with grief. They have feelings of loneliness or struggle with being isolated from others, and all sorts of other unique reasons why people might hurt. The next question is, how do you measure change, and how does someone go from hurt to not hurt? So I think while you can measure change, on a scale, like you first start out with a client and you ask them a question, you rate it 1 to 10, and then later in the counseling process, you ask them the same question and you can see clearly on the scales where they've grown. I think counseling, for me, the most important way to measure growth is seeing how a client has developed the skill of choosing better for themselves. So when a client first comes in, if they're constantly making decisions that will lead them to problematic outcomes and won't lead them towards the outcome that they want for the goals that they have, and then somewhere in the counseling process, they start choosing easier paths for themselves. They can identify where they may meet less obstacles, and they can see that, and they are choosing to have the better outcome for themselves. And how does someone go from hurt to not hurt? I think people will always deal with hurt, but being able to shift your focus so that it's not so impactful on your day-to-day life is what really matters. And then lastly, what does it mean to be mentally well or mentally healthy? I think seeing a person be self-aware, they still deal with obstacles every day, but being able to process those in a timely manner in whatever time frame makes sense for them, but not having it weigh on their day-to-day life, and just having the self-awareness like, hey, this is something that I need to process and go through, and this is affecting me in this kind of way, and I need to take note of that. I think that is the best way to see someone as mentally healthy. Thanks.